The Legacy Museum of African American History, in collaboration with Lynchburg Parks and Recreation Department, celebrating Black History Month each Sunday afternoon, February 6th, 13th, 20th, and 27th at 3 p.m., presents a virtual talk show written and directed by Teresa Harris, featuring actors portraying Katherine Johnson, Muhammad Ali, Maya Angelou, and Frederick Douglass. And live from the Quincy Armstrong Show, featuring guest host Leslie King, with Janet Cole as Maya Angelou and music guest James Stewart. And now, ladies and gentlemen, here's Quincy.
Hello, I'm Quincy Armstrong, and welcome to the Quincy Armstrong Show. Now, here at Q's Place, we celebrate Black history 365, 24/7. Now, we're proud to honor the great achievements of Blacks in America. Now, from the moment the first Africans set foot on North American soil, we became a fundamental thread in the tapestry of American history. In the 60s, Sam Cooke reminded us by saying, "It's been a long time coming, but a change is gonna come." Now, on each of these episodes, I have the privilege of interviewing some of the greatest change agents in history. Now, they recognize the need to make life better, not only for themselves and their contemporaries, but also for the generations who will come after them. It is important for their stories to be told. Now, here at the Quincy Armstrong Show, our mission is to educate, entertain, and hopefully uplift through storytelling. Now, tonight's special guest is author, writer, poet, civil rights activist, and the list goes on and on. Maya Angelou will be talking with guest host Leslie King. We hope you enjoy tonight's show, and thank you for watching.
Hello, everyone. I am Leslie King, and I am guest hosting this special episode of the Quincy Armstrong Show. Today, we have an extraordinary guest who many acknowledge as a respected spokesperson for Black people and particularly Black women. An amazing storyteller, she uses words as tools to transform, empower, and restore our spirit. She tells the story of everyday folk in a way that allows us to see their and subsequently our humanity. She reminds us that there is always dawn full of hope after a dusk of despair. Please join me in welcoming author, poet, historian, educator, actress, playwright, director, civil rights activist, and producer, Dr. Maya Angelou.
When it looked like the sun wasn't gonna shine anymore, God put a rainbow in the clouds.
Welcome. We're so glad to have you here for this special episode of the Quincy Armstrong Show. I have always admired your work. You often speak of rainbows in the cloud, and this theme has come to be associated with your work as educator, motivator, and activist. Tell us more about what these words mean to you.
Well, first, I want to thank you, Ms. King, for being fairly brief in your introduction. Sometimes when I'm being introduced, I feel like I'm at my own wake.
Well, we definitely don't want that.
Now, I have over 60 doctorates. I teach in French and Spanish all over the world. I teach theology and philosophy, and I've won many accolades and awards. All of that is fine, but the truth is that I'm able to be here only because of the rainbows in my class.
You know, that's such a positive way to describe the support systems we sometimes take for granted.
Yes. Rainbows in the clouds. Each one of us has had rainbows in our clouds. Some of those rainbows, we don't even know they have been there for us.
You know, a line from one of your poems is, nobody, but nobody can make it out here alone. Is that to say that in order to merely survive, we all probably more than ever need a rainbow in our cloud, or perhaps many rainbows?
Let me share that poem with you. Now, if you listen closely, I'll tell you what I know. Storm clouds are gathering. The wind is gonna blow. The race of man is suffering, and I can hear the moan. 'Cause nobody, but nobody, can make it out here alone. Alone, all alone. Nobody, but nobody, can make it out here alone. I've had a lot of clouds, but I've had so many rainbows. My mother, my grandmother, my Uncle Willie, my brother. These people still light the way for me. When I feel lonely or feel the most threatened, I think of them and bring them right here in this space with me.
Speaking of clouds, there was a time in your life where you did not speak for 5 years. Why did you stop talking?
That was a very difficult time for me. My mother, Vivian Baxter Johnson, and my father, Bailey Johnson, divorced when I was 3 and my brother, Bailey Jr., was 4. Our mother was not able to properly care for us at the time, so she sent my brother, Bailey, and I to live with our grandmother in Arkansas. When I was about 7, I was taken to St. Louis to visit my mother. I was there for a few months when I was raped by my mother's then boyfriend.
Oh my gosh. I can only imagine how traumatic that must have been for you.
Very much so for me, as well as my brother. He was 9 by then, and he asked me who did it. I hadn't told anyone else at the time, and I said to him, if I tell you, the man will kill you. Now, keep in mind, this was my big brother, and I looked up to him, but I was fearful for him too. And he said, I will not allow him to kill me.
I imagine he was very protective of you.
Yes, he was. And when he said he would not allow this man to kill him, I believed him. So I told him, and of course, he told my mother. A little later, the man was found dead.
So he was murdered.
Yes. He had been killed, and I thought my voice itself killed him.
Wow. You know, that's such a horrible burden for such a young child to bear.
Yes. And I thought if I spoke, I could kill anybody. So I just stopped talking.
And you never said another word for 5 years?
I sometimes spoke to my brother Bailey, but that was it.
So how did your mother and grandmother handle this?
Well, my mother tried everything she could, but nothing worked. I was determined not to speak. So my mother sent me back to my grandmother in Arkansas. Of course, the people there did not know what had happened, and they just thought that I was crazy or that I was retarded. My grandmother used to braid my hair, and she would say to me, I know the people think that you're crazy and can't talk, but I know when you get ready and the Lord gets ready, you're going to talk, sister. She said to me, you are going to be a teacher. Just watch and see.
So, of course, you did talk again. What changed?
Now, to show you how out of something evil there can come something good, in those 5 years, I read all the books in the Black School Library. I then read all the books I could get from the White School Library. I memorized James Weldon Johnson, Paul Laurence Dunbar, Countee Cullen, and Langston Hughes. I memorized Shakespeare, whole plays, 50 sonnets. I memorized Edgar Allan Poe, all the poetry. I read and I stored information. I read and I stored information. I read and I stored information. When I finally did speak again, I had a lot to say and many ways in which to say what I had to say.
So reading and memorizing poetry was how you found your voice again.
Yes. Thanks to Mrs. Flowers, who was the most beautiful Black woman I had ever seen up to then. She took me to the library where I learned to love poetry. After about 2 years into this, she told me that I would never truly love poetry until I felt the words across my tongue through my teeth. This had a profound effect on me, and after a while, I began to speak again.
Wow, so Mrs. Flowers was a rainbow in the clouds.
Very much so. Being the rainbow in the clouds is the most noble thing we can be, you see. And the thing to do, it seems to me, is to prepare yourself so you can be a rainbow in someone else's cloud. Somebody who may not look like you, may not call God the same name you call God, if they call God at all. They may not even speak the same language as you or think the same thoughts, but you can be a blessing to somebody. You could just say hello to someone, give them a smile, or hold that door open. You never know what that small gesture may mean to someone, or who you may have lifted up from the depths of despair in that single moment. We've already had the rainbows in our clouds, or we wouldn't be here. And that's just who we are, each of us. We are the rainbows. We have the possibility of shining light on a path that was very bumpy, dangerous, and crooked, and helping to make it a little straighter and smoother for people who come after us.
You know, you have been the rainbow in the clouds for so many, including me. Your poems, your quotes, your instruction has given us all food for thought and ways and words to live by. Of all the advice you have given, what would you say is your best or favorite piece of advice?
Well, the best piece of advice, I hope, is that which I gave to my son when he was growing up. He came to me and he said he didn't have any friends. I told him two things. I told him in order to get a friend, you have to be a friend. Be ready to be a friend. And the other thing I told him is that there is a place within you that you must never violate. You must keep it pristine so that no one has a right to curse you or treat you badly. Nobody. No wife, no husband, no mother, no father, nobody. Because that may be the place you go to when you meet God. You have to have a place where you can say, no, back up, not here. When it's no, say so, and mean no. That place has to remain clean and clear, that very special place within you.
So you're saying that everyone should have a place within themselves where no one else is allowed to abuse or desecrate or violate that place, a sort of sacred internal space.
Absolutely. And when a person comes to you with bad or invasive language, you have to be able to say, back up, not me. No, you don't. Don't you know that I am a child of God?
That is the best advice. It really is. What would you say is the best advice you have ever gotten?
Let me think for a moment. There's been so many good things. I think the greatest advice I've received is to forgive.
Now, you know that's tricky for some people. Mm-hmm. Now, when you say forgive, do you mean welcome them back into your circle?
Nope. Indeed not. It just means I'm finished with you. I'm done. You can go on your way.
Okay. Now, I remember you saying that one must take care of themselves first, and then if they have enough left over, they can give to others.
You are a good student, my child.
Well, it certainly helps to have a great mentor such as yourself. You fill us all with belief in things that will be and in hope in things that can be. On the topic of things that can be, what is some specific guidance that you would like to give our youth that they can start implementing today?
Well, one very specific thing is that I would like to see school systems at all levels reinstitute the habit of memorizing poetry. Memorize some poetry. I would like to think that they would memorize some Angelou. Also, some Paul Laurence Dunbar, some Shakespeare, and my favorite, Edgar Allan Poe. I want our youth to have this. They will need it. The words of these poets and others have served me well over the years.
Please elaborate a little bit more on that thought.
I intend to. My mother insisted that my brother and I be exposed to the arts in all its manifestations. I once heard Gregory Peck read Poe's The Raven at a local theater. Now, I had never heard anyone read it before, but I knew it because I had memorized it. But because of the internal rhyme, I memorized it in the 40s, mind you, much the way like hip-hop artists speak today. So I understood it a little differently. Let me do it for you.
Okay.
But I'm gonna need your help.
Me?
All right, yes ma'am. Can you give me a little beat thing? Miss King, come on.
Okay. I guess I'll see what I can do. All right.
Once upon a midnight dreary, while I pondered weak and weary over many a quaint and curious volume of forgotten lore, while I nodded, nearly napping, suddenly there came a tapping as of someone gently rapping at my chamber door. That was good, Miss Day. That was good. Gregory Peck comes out and he takes that Shakespearean stance, you know, the ones that actors do, and he said, once upon a midnight dreary, while I pondered weak and weary. I said, that is not how that poem goes.
So of everything that you have encountered over the years, what would you say you know for sure?
One thing I know for sure is that doing the right thing is the only thing. Right may not be expedient, it may not be profitable, but doing the right thing will satisfy your soul. Be the best human being you can be. Strive to do that in your home, in your church, in the classroom, at your place of work. Do it because it's the right thing to do. People will know you. They will add their prayers to your life. They will wish you well. If your name is mentioned and people say, oh, hell, oh, damn, I think you may be doing something wrong. But if your name is mentioned and people say, oh, she's so sweet, he's so nice, oh, God bless her, that's what you want. So try to live your life in a way that you will not regret years of useless virtue and inertia and timidity. So pick up the battle right where you are and make this a better world. This is your life. This is my life. It's up to us to make this a better place in which to thrive.
Well, obviously, you have made this world better because of the part that you have played in it. Thank you, Ms. Angelou, for sharing wisdom, hope, and love with us today.
Thank you, Ms. King, for having me.
Although the storms keep on raging in my life, and sometimes it's hard to tell my night from day. That's when the hope that lies within is reassured as I keep my eyes upon that distant shore. I know He'll lead me safely to that blessed place He has prepared. But the storms don't cease, and if the winds keep on blowing in my life, when the hope that lies within is reassured. As I keep my eyes upon that distant shore, I know He'll lead me safely to that blessed place He has prepared. But if the storms don't cease, and if the winds keep on blowing in my life, my soul has been anchored in the Lord. Yeah. I realize that in this life, sometimes we are going to be tossed by the waves and the currents that may seem so fierce. But in the Word of God, I've got an anchor that keeps me steadfast and unmovable to stand the tide. So if the storms don't cease, and just in case, even if, although the winds keep blowing in my life, my soul has been anchored in. My soul has been anchored. My soul has been anchored. I'm so very glad that my soul has been anchored. Billows may roll, breakers may dash, but I've got an anchor that holds me fast. In the midnight hour, my pillow wet with tears. It's only been God who's brought me through all these years. I said to my soul, I'm glad in my soul. I'm so very glad that I can see that my soul, you pressed me down, but Jesus picked me up, and He sticks by me when the going gets tough. You can talk about me just as much as you please. The more you talk, I'm gonna stay on my knees because of my soul. I'm glad in my soul. I'm so very glad that I can say that my soul, you can't make me doubt Him, cause I know too much about Him. He's been so good to me.